Good morning. Welcome to the Carlin and Anthony Show. We are very big on the screen right now. I'm going to adjust that in a second. I just wanted to make sure that it worked because this is one of those mornings. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you are obviously not.
You taking notes or something?
No. What?
Oh.
We were double. Yeah, so I fixed that. Just fixed it. So here's what happened this morning. And I'm going to tell you the irony.
Good morning, everybody.
Of everything once I get this screen back up the way it's supposed to be. So this morning I sat down. I got the little list ready that we have it's going to be on the screen in a second. And everything was going great. I had the chat ready. It was on the screen. I saw Lenny had just gotten to the chat. And then right before I pressed go live on our screen, the camera decided, I looked at it and it decided to do that thing that it did last week where I was just doing this for a while.
What side was frozen?
My side again.
Oh, we should have left it.
My side again was frozen. Hype train just started. Thank you very much. So in the chat before I hit live, I wrote, because you can actually be in that chat while we're still waiting. I wrote, hey, whoever's in here, please let everyone know that I'm going to restart the camera. It should only take like 3 minutes. So I restarted the camera and nothing happened. It just never was recognized by the computer. So then I had to restart the program and I had to restart the computer. And the irony, or maybe not even the irony, could you watch the light for a second? The coincidence, I guess, is yesterday, while we were not on Twitch, we did do a live stream. Gotta get my leg over here.
Oh yeah, for the children.
Yeah, we were talking to some fourth graders.
Fourth through sixth graders for our friend Lauren, who Lauren voices the Morning Show podcast. We worked with her at Elvis Duran in the Morning Show. She's kind of like teaching these summer courses to kids. Mm-hmm. And we popped in to talk to them about what we do, and it was cool.
Yeah, because a lot of the kids, I guess, are interested in being, streamers, influencers, YouTubers, things like that. Things that, seem cool today. And one of the questions that they asked were, what are some of the harder things about your jobs? And I said, really, the hardest thing for me is completely beyond my control. It's the technical difficulties because sometimes microphones or cameras or the internet doesn't work. And just for it to, right before we streamed this morning, bam, right there.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dana on Long Island, thank you very much for that gifted sub. I know we are actually doing pretty well here. Alicia from the 215, 300 bits. Who else do we have? Lunchbox Lob with 5 gifted subs. Lisa and Jen both with gifted subs as well. Heather on Long Island, 500 bits. Man, there's a lot. Oh, and we're almost through.
We need a shot, so.
Hype Train. No, and now we are officially through Hype Train level 5, which means we are going to continue celebrating, what is it, Watermelon Week? Month? Day?
Watermelon Month with the Watermelon Jolly Rancher.
All right. There we go. Shots. Let's do it. Pour it up, Carla Marie.
Meg said, am I the only one who can't hear you? How do we tell her? Someone tell her yes. Or well, we stopped talking, so that probably
you guys can hear me, right? Auntie Tay, thank you very much for the 100 bits.
We weren't live yesterday, Lenny. We were streaming to a classroom of children via Zoom.
Okay, Jen said they could hear us. Deborah said they could hear us. Lisa also said that.
So You Look Great merch is arriving, which is insane. And there are 5 orders, I believe, that have not gone out yet. And check your email if you haven't gotten like a order shipped, because they're going to email, because there were like just 5 shirts that he doesn't think he can get. He's going to try, and if not, offer a refund or a
different style
or whatever. So whatever you want is what will happen. It's not like you're stuck doing anything, but just check your email. Either way, you'll still get your merch sooner than planned.
Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be the end of the month, right? And we still have got 9 days left. No, 10 days left. There's 31 days in July.
It was shipping the week of next.
And remember, once you get your merch, try it on, make sure it fits and everything, and then take a good picture, both horizontally and vertically, and send it to hello@carlamarineanthony.com, because we want to put together a bunch of stuff for social media and for Twitch with everyone rocking the gear. So make sure you do that. The more pictures, the better. If everyone in your family got a shirt, send a picture of everybody in your family.
We've been getting a bunch. I'm loving seeing the kids tie-dye on the kids. It looks so cool.
And make sure in the email you just write your name and where you're from, just in case it's not clear in the email or we don't know where exactly you live. Maybe you moved.
Well, tell you why we really need this shot today. We've been awake since 4:30 a.m. because Erica and John decided they were going to do what do race car drivers do? Drive in circles? Speedway?
They race? I don't
What
know.
is that called? The track?
Drag racing? NASCAR?
Essentially just running full
So
speed.
they weren't doing anything that NASCAR drivers do. So is what you're telling me.
But they were going that fast. It's not.
It's
and
doubtful.
It was essentially Zoomies, Jen, but like for 2 hours. And I was screaming at them. I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, that didn't help me at all.
Their nails are at a level that I need to like cut them. So I hear them running more in the rugs. And I know it's probably not great for the rug. But like at one point I was like, Erica, you need to stop. And she like stopped and went under the bed, and she does this to me all the time in the morning, and it is what nightmares are made out of. Like, luckily it's light out when it happens. I went to go get back in bed, and she popped out from under the bed and grabs my foot and like does like, she doesn't really bite me, but if I like stop or I'll like go to like grab her and like get her out from somewhere and be like, dude, don't do that. She attacks my hand, but it's not like viciously. It's like, I'm playing. And she's in here right now, so sweet and innocent and sleepy.
Hey, Becky from Miami is in the chat.
Woo.
Good to see you. Let's take this shot, Carla Marie. The cats were not cooperating. The computers were not cooperating, but we are here and we are enjoying ourselves on this Friday Eve. Cheers.
I got so confused that it was Friday when you said that.
Woo! Yes?
I laughed at what Seattle Cocktail Club said, and part went down my throat, and I wasn't ready for it.
What did they say?
Erica doesn't know English. She's Italian.
She could be. I mean, she's loud. She
She's
is.
not loud, like vocally.
She's army crawling on the floor right now.
She's actually the quietest vocally. What do I say? What is it? What is it? Stop the cheat. Is that shut your mouth or something?
You're asking me Italian? I don't know.
I'm asking Jen and Lisa.
I have absolutely no idea. A couple things on the list today. Nose piercing is moved.
Oh,
We were supposed to be piercing. Well, I wasn't going to be doing anything. Carla Marie's friend Hannah, our friend Hannah, was supposed to come in here and pierce Carla Marie's nose, but Amazon, I guess,
They didn't
delayed
leave-
one of the deliveries.
yeah, the actual needles.
Can't you just use an actual like sewing needle?
I
That's
know.
yours?
What is it? In It Takes Two, they do it with a lemon or cucumber and a lemon or something and a safety pin on fire.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that.
Okay. So the needle didn't get in time. So hopefully Tuesday, we are going to be piercing Carla Marie's nose. Live piercings on Twitch.
Monday or Tuesday.
Should we wait? What if we combine nose piercing and we get a hot tub in here and
No,
do
that's-
like hot tub piercing streams?
She's eating paper. It's unsanitary. Oh, sorry. Parent Trap, not It Takes Two. That's funny. It's unsanitary. I probably can't go in a hot tub for months.
Why?
I don't know. This cat is bad shit.
I think we have to kick her out. Yeah, just a potato and a needle.
A potato.
That's it. Just right in there. So the other things we got today, Carla Marie apparently saw something crazy, and then this is going to be interesting. Could you live minor league? And what I'm talking about is minor league baseball, because there's a little bit of controversy going around right now between minor league baseball players and the commissioner of baseball.
Okay.
Right? And it's not going to be sports talk. I promise you that.
Oh, it might be sports with a Z.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it'll count as sports with a Z. But Lisa might know what I'm talking about. Jen might know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about it in a second. You, Carla Marie, at the end of the morning show podcast, told everyone you saw something crazy.
I did see something
saw
crazy.
Something crazy.
And I know before everyone starts asking, I had said that maybe today I can make my announcement. I found out officially that I'll be able to talk about it as of July 28th, which is next Thursday.
A week from today.
Good or bad, I'll be able to talk about it.
The other thing, though.
Oh, we're talking about that right now?
Yes.
Yesterday, I was in Wallingford, and I was in a coffee shop getting a snack, and I decided to sit at like the table like facing the window outside, and there's a bench outside, and there was a man on a smoke break. This man, I don't know if he gave 0 Fs or didn't know there was a window behind him, but was scrolling on his very large phone, and all I saw were boobs and butts.
Good for him.
Full blown. I'm telling you, when this man was scrolling, this girl, I got to talk to her. She was sending.
Oh, so it was like it wasn't watching like porn. He was getting like pictures sent to him.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
I mean, it was clearly a message. I think he had an Android because I didn't like, or just wait. I just saw all these photos, right? So
Okay.
I see like, first she's covering her boobs, then she's not covering her boobs. And I was like, I looked away and I was like, well, wait, I don't know what to, I was like, I don't know. I can't just like look down. And I just kept like staring.
Well, yeah.
And then it was like butt poses. But I didn't see her face in any of them. Okay.
Smart.
Then I was like, oh my God, I can see him sending pictures back. Like, what is happening? And he's just like, the crazy thing is, like, when you think of people sending those photos, you think of them, I don't know, being at home and like whatever. Nah, he's just sitting on a
You
bench.
can't control where people get him. She probably knew he was at work, and he was like, yo, I'm on my break, babe. Send some stuff.
Marijuana said, my wife and I were at the movie. A dude had his full brightness scrolling through the nude pics he was getting. Like,
Yeah.
it was just clear as day. So then I'm like, oh my God. I'm like looking around. I'm like,
Was anyone else seeing it?
no. And
Okay.
I didn't like want to be like, hey, dude, working on your computer. Do you see this out the window or like what? So then a few minutes goes by, and I mean minutes because I like looked away for a bit. He was then on some app, and I have no idea what the interface was. It looked jankety, like almost like, you know, when you go to Reddit and there's like a lot going on.
Mhm.
It was like that, but everything was kind of like thumbnails, and it was all different women. And I'm
Maybe
like,
it was like his photo locker that he has.
no, it like there were words. It was kind of like I don't know exactly if this is what it said, but it would be like 32-year-old female. Like in my mind, I'm like, is this man buying these people? Like, what is happening?
Maybe it was like an OnlyFans type thing.
But I imagine if this guy was on a smoke break, like this is where he
'Cause-
does this. So I need to go back.
With OnlyFans, can't you send like private pictures?
Oh, I have no idea. It could have been OnlyFans.
Also, I just thought about this yesterday when we were talking to that 4th grade class. We told them all where to find our channel, so this is a fun conversation to have. Hopefully they're in school, though, at
Yeah,
this
they're in
time.
school. They're in
Let's see. My cousin decided it was okay to watch porn while my husband drove him around to run errands. You know, I don't know how to justify that one. You're just in a car with someone, and you're like, oh, this is the time for porn. I don't know.
That seems.
But the pictures thing, like, you can't control when people send you stuff.
But he. No,
But-
but
and
it
if
wasn't
you're
like he
getting
was
it-
like it wasn't. Whoo! I'm gonna put this away.
Well, no, he
It
probably
was,
saw it, enjoyed it, and
was
was like,
a-
gonna keep looking.
dude, you're in front of a window.
Yeah. People don't pay attention, though. You're probably, or not
What?
he's probably so zoned in and excited in that moment that he's not paying attention to anything else around him.
Well, guess what? I won't be sending you anytime you're in public.
Let's see. Violet Lover, it is summer break, but they were in this class yesterday.
It's a
like a summer program of
It
some
is
sort.
a summer program. Yeah.
Um. So, how long did this go on for?
Probably 10 minutes.
Wow. And how much did you see?
A lot.
Like, did you have a good view, or you just could kind of see that it was a naked person?
This man was technically 2 feet in front of me.
Oh,
It
wow,
was
it
like
was that close.
it was like a bar, not a bar, but like, you know, the coffee shop that has like you sit on the stool and face outside. Like that, essentially that.
Let's see. Oh man, I lost it. There was a comment. Let's see. I had a former coworker who used his work computer to watch porn. Best part, he was in the IT department. And there was another one. I can't see it.
So now you said when Snapchat was big, I used to have to text certain people before opening their snaps in public.
Yeah, I think, especially with Snapchat, because you never know what's coming through. You have to be like, hey, I'm at work. Should I open this message? Should I not open this message? Let's see. Johnny Wow said, hi, so late today.
Same.
Haven't been on at all. My You Look Great merch got in yesterday. Can't wait to wear it on a DC vacay this weekend.
Oh my God.
Make sure you take pictures. Take pictures like by the monuments.
Take pictures in controversial places so we can piss people off.
Like in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Go there. Go to the
Maybe
White
you can
House.
get arrested with some politicians.
Being in DC is like super controversial these days. Like, just take a picture there.
You know what's interesting? So, and this, I'm not going to get into the politics of why any of this happened. I don't actually care. AOC is one of the, I think, 16 politicians that got arrested. And the reason I say I don't care is it's not that I don't care about what they were protesting. It's all like nonsense theater.
Yeah.
Like it's not a real arrest. You didn't really go to jail.
No.
Not like me when I did 2.5 hours of hard time in a Jersey City jail. We have someone who listens to this show, listens to our podcasts, who works for the Capitol Police.
I need to talk to him.
And I'd assume if you're arresting 16 politicians, it takes a handful of Capitol Police to do that. And I want to ask him, I want to text him and be like, hey, did you arrest any of these politicians? And what was that interaction like? Were they just like, yeah, I knew that I came here to get arrested, to make a statement?
Apparently there were rumors going around that AOC actually wasn't handcuffed. She was just walking like this.
That's how my grandfather used to walk. My old Lebanese grandfather.
That's how I walk.
He used to just walk around with his arms behind his back, and he'd have the little bead things that Arabs hold.
Oh, who posted it? Prida? Is that her name? I'm blanking on her name. On oh my God. The Dubai radio show. They're gonna watch this and be like, "You're an idiot."
On Chris Fade's show?
Chris Fade, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Preety. She posted it was like something about like Indian dads. It was a reel, and she just went outside and she was like, and it was her dad walking around like this. And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, old Middle Eastern men walk around like that. I guess Indians walk around like that. Do Italians walk around like that?
For sure.
Okay. Is it just an old man thing?
I don't know.
Because I know Arabs, we have this like beaded. It's not a rosary. It's like
anal beads.
No. Yeah, my grandfather was walking around. My grandfather, born in Palestine in 1912, was walking around with anal beads.
He may not have known that that's what they were.
Is it so? Maybe it's just a brown men thing.
Is it essentially the?
It looks like a rosary, right? So it's like a string of beads, but it comes to it's not a full circle, so it wouldn't be like a necklace.
The things that kids use today, like the bubble things, what is essentially that same idea?
Oh, like not the fidget spinner.
Fidget spinner and the bubble popper.
I mean, maybe.
Okay, what was?
Let's see. My dad's an old Irish dude, and he does it too. So just old men in general. But why do they like? What is it with old men putting their hands behind their backs?
I'll be honest, it's comfortable. I love it. I do it.
Maybe there was something back in the day, like putting your hands in your pockets was like a low class thing to do.
I think it gets to a point in your life you don't want to hold your arms.
Maybe it's support the arching back. Yeah, I guess when you do that, you have to stand up straight.
True, that is why I do it.
Also,
your brother said your grandpa was born the same year the Model T came out.
Makes sense.
Wait, your grandpa was born in 1911?
Something like that. Well, we don't know exactly, but it's between 1910 and 1912. Like right after the Titanic sank, at some point in that very recent time after the Titanic.
After or before?
After.
So the Titanic wasn't.
It was 1910, I thought. Oh, so maybe he's before? Oh, so he was, according to my brother. But this is the thing, I don't trust. Oh, posture check. Thank you, Lenny and Z from NYC.
Hands behind our back.
We never knew when my grandfather's actual birthday was.
Because
like there was no real paperwork at the time. They just took you back from the hospital. I don't even. There probably wasn't a hospital that he was born in. It was probably some nun, not even a nurse, that was like preying on his mom as she was giving birth, not helping at all.
Martha said Arabs never know their actual birthday. All my uncle's birthday is January 1st.
Great birthday.
Okay, but your dad had birthday confusion as well.
Yeah, Merrick, thank you very much for the hydration reminder. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're sweating it out in this room.
Oh, so my brother said he's going off the memorial card that they gave out. Which I never, Vicky, I'll hydrate again. Let's do it.
Oh, well, if I have to pee.
Have you been to memorial services or funerals or wakes where they give out the card?
You can't throw them out.
I've never liked the card idea, and I really hope when I die, no one's giving out cards.
No, we're giving out like jock cards.
Maybe an NFT. Like give out an NFT so that you can just save it to a phone or a drive somewhere, And I just don't like the idea of becoming a dead trading
It's
card.
like QR code on your coffin.
Yeah.
Scan from.
Yeah, give me a scannable QR code.
Yeah, I don't want to be putting paper out there in the universe.
It's not even that. They're laminated. You feel bad throwing them out. Like, I'm sure I have my uncles and my cousin, and not my cousins, my uncle.
I have everybody.
And my grandfather's in a box in my parents' attic somewhere. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
I have all of them. It's okay. I'm going to be composted.
And don't get me wrong. I have the people whose trading cards I have. I love them. And I'm not trying to be like,
I know, but
rude.
A lot of people are going to die in your life.
A lot of them. And I don't need a collection, right? Like I'm imagining it this way. I was a big Don Mattingly fan growing up. First baseman for the Yankees, borderline Hall of Famer, probably not going to make it, but his number is retired with the Yankees, number 23. I have a binder of Don Mattingly baseball cards. I don't want to get to a point in my life where I need a binder of dead people's
No, I have. We should go
cards.
One day on Twitch. Maybe we'll do it as like a weekend thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will, so we don't waste like actual Twitch time. I have two boxes under my bed of papers that matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through them earlier this year and threw out, and a part of me actually, like when you don't, everyone's like, just throw it out, you don't care.
Yes.
There's part of me.
That's me all the time.
That cares a bit. But I had notes that I passed in middle school and high school. From like, some were boyfriends, some were friends, but I would read them and I'm like, what am I even saying? Like, It doesn't even make sense.
It's stupid.
So that's why I tossed them. I saved some that were like breakup letters or whatever, but
I think
I had
an acceptable, and that's too much.
Yeah.
And based on what I've seen at your parents' house, I understand. The Maries, like things. They like holding on to things.
No.
What?
Freddie Murray likes holding on to things.
Well,
I will say though, it's cute.
by proxy, Mama Marie also likes to hold on to things.
He has every note and letter and coloring thing that my sister and I made him.
You know what?
Cool.
You know what? Freddie Murray, your dad, might like hanging on to things. I mean, I'd call him a borderline hoarder, but he's an actual hoarder.
He's a hoarder.
I did learn what your mom likes. Your mom likes buying things with your name on it.
Anyone's name.
And I didn't realize there were so many things that you could personalize in the world.
What is it? Personal creations? That woman is single-handedly keeping that place in business.
Like, we've got a kitchen towel now that says our names. Your sister, and I thought this was your sister's doing.
But she's not too far behind.
I understand that. Your sister's like the live, laugh, love on the
My
kitchen
sister
counter
has things
sign
that say like kitchen, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we know. We don't need signs that say that.
But when I got to visit your sister's place, her new house, which is phenomenal, like everything had their married name on it. And I asked you, I was like, wow, your sister really likes her new name. And you were like, no, my mom bought all of that stuff. It's like the entry, not the placemat. What's it called?
Entry mat.
The entryway mat.
But my
there's
mom,
a million things.
This is where my sister just goes ape. Because my mom does the wrong apostrophe. So say your last name is Smiths, right? It's supposed to just be Smiths plural because.
Wait, I think you used.
No.
Okay.
It's supposed. Okay. If it says Smith's house, the Smith's house or whatever, it's S apostrophe. Because it's 100%.
No, I understand. You just used a really bad example because Smith is normally a last name without an S.
What?
Smith?
I'm aware.
Okay.
So is your last name and so is mine. It would be the same situation.
No, so it would be apostrophe S.
No, that's where it's wrong. It's S. So it's plural, first of all. It's the, okay.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
My mom will put the SMITH apostrophe S. My sister's like, no.
I get what you're saying.
The only time that works if it's the Smith's house, which also shouldn't say that.
Yes.
It should just be like the Smiths. And my mom will do apostrophe S. My sister's like, I'm not putting this because it is grammatically incorrect.
You are correct. I was mistaken. I thought she was writing something like the Smith's house.
If it's in that situation, yes.
Yes. But if you're just saying the Smiths, there is no need for an apostrophe.
And then my sister has things where it's like apostrophe S, S apostrophe S. I'm like, Mom, just ask me before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, it's plural. Done. It's not possessive.
Yes.
And it's a thing.
Yeah, the way you said it first, I was
Yeah,
confused.
sorry.
Okay. Oh,
I
but
truly
to
could
go
not
back, there
have-
was someone who said that instead of the trading card, you get
was
it for
Mandarin Rose. I know what you're going to say.
the seeds.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
So there are like there are papers now. A lot of card companies do this that you could get like a memorial card and it's just on a paper, and within that paper are seeds to plant something.
Can you plant the paper itself, or you have to open it up?
No,
It's like a plantable packet.
It's a plantable piece of paper.
That's pretty cool. What would you want people to plant? Like tomatoes?
I hear sunflowers are a bitch, so maybe those. No tomatoes, basil. Super.
A nice Italian basil.
We got like a basil tree outside. I'm about to make all the basil things.
I think I'd want a tree. Give me an actual tree.
Yeah, cause like then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, big ass tree.
Oh, that's
Maybe hang a
true.
swing from it down the road.
Heather on Long Island said wildflowers, they're good for bees, and I'm all about keeping those bees
true.
alive.
True.
We need them.
Yeah, but whatever I do, if you're around when I pass away, just tell everyone the last thing I wanted.
Who are you
for
talking to, me or the people?
Everyone, whoever's listening to this, whoever's around when I pass away, just spread the word after I die that the last thing I want ever would be a laminated card with my face and my birthday and my death date on it.
That's next
And
level.
then some poem behind it. I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be slid into a shoebox of mementos and slid onto someone's bed for the rest of existence. It's not what I want.
Yeah, you'd be in my shoebox. No, or like, you know what's even like sadder? My sister and I, it's still in our childhood bedroom. Like we had our grandpas in our like mirror.
That's where when I had a bedroom mirror, that's where I had, I think, my uncles and my grandfathers for a while.
But then we turned it into a memorial frame, which I would never get rid of.
What do you mean?
So it's a photo of both my sister and I with my grandpa. Like we handmade this.
Okay.
Like we put it on scrapbook paper, and it's like a photo of each of us, I believe, with his birth and death date, and the memorial card is in it.
Okay.
Hanging in our bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, the picture
But
probably would have been fine by itself.
Seeing that like when someone dies when you're 8 years old, right? It's not easy to forget, but seeing that every day, kind of like always.
Yeah, but don't you think just a regular picture of you guys having a good time would have been appropriate?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is the weird thing. And I feel like people I was thinking about this the other day because I bring up death a lot. It's weird. And I do want to read Sonali's comments in a second because it's really cool. Make sure that stays. Give me one moment, please. Thank you. So I think I talk about death a lot because when I was younger, a lot of people, like mid to late high school into early college, like a bunch of people around me at different stages, right? Not just family, not friends, like everywhere, died. It was weird. It was a 4.5 to 6 year stretch that, like, my parents, I found out recently, were actually concerned about me. Like, they were a step away from being like, this kid might need to go to therapy.
Why you and not your brothers?
Because there were some family members. My brothers were also much younger.
And friends.
But I had a bunch of people from my high school and college that it also happened to, people that I was closer to. Anyway.
I mean, you probably
So I think about it. I thought about it a lot for a while. And here's how I feel about all of that stuff. I find it weird that when someone passes, we like to make ourselves sad thinking about that person. And that's the last thing I want. If you're alive after me, I don't want people putting things up that make them sad. Like,
I know, but
don't
I would
put
have
the, don't put the life and death date, right? Like, don't put that card up. Just put a picture of us having a good time.
Okay, but I would totally get a bench in your honor at like Golden Gardens.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with a bench.
Should it say worst Anthony's bench?
Yes. Don't even write why. Don't even write that up. Don't even write in memorial or whatever.
Yes, it's such
in
a
memory
sad
of.
word.
Just
Memoriam?
write. Some guy liked sitting here, so we got a bench. That's it.
Okay, wait.
But
Tacoma Swifty said, just make him a bomb playlist and let him be. I think that's about you.
It should be about me. And to go back to what you said about your grandfather, right? Like you and your sister made this thing.
Yeah.
And it has the death date or something, right?
Pretty sure it is, yeah.
If those were my kids, right? If I was raising you and your sister, I'd want you to make something.
Well, something tells me my mom had a hand in this.
Well, yeah, but I would want you to make something that was just fun pictures, all of you guys smiling, and put it up. And that's all you need. You don't need to harp on the fact that the person's dead, because what you want to do is remember their life, not remember their death.
I'll have my mom take a picture. It's in the attic that was our bedroom, and it's 175 degrees in New Jersey, and I don't want her walking up there right now, so we'll wait.
Indian culture, this is from Sonali. Indian culture includes a coconut as part of your last rites ritual, and my great-grandfather wanted to be buried in his farm instead of cremated, and the coconut grew into a tree. That is so cool. So there's just a coconut tree for this man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I agree with Lenny from Queens as well. I want a party for my funeral.
I think you're going to start seeing it more and more.
Be sad for a little bit.
Because
but not forever.
And I'm not saying younger people aren't religious, but I think the older people who that's all they know, right? They only associate death with religion, where some of us associate death spirit. It's just in a different way, right?
Which is weird, because in most religions, and this is weird because we assume everyone goes to the good place that your religion believes in after you die.
Yeah.
When we know damn right,
none of us are going.
Most of us aren't going there.
But speaking of actually, let me just say this. I keep laughing. Fred the mailman said, "I would totally Donald Duck on that bench, sitting there with no pants on." The worst Anthony bench.
By all means, butt cheeks on. Go for it.
But
butt cheeks activated.
I think we're going to get to the point where there is a mix of people who just grew up not religious, or people who are still religious but don't want that tradition, right? Because so many, we're getting to a point in our lives where so many traditions are changing, no matter what it is, whether it's living with a partner. Obviously, that has very much changed in our lifetime before you're married. Not having kids, or buying a home before you're married. All these different things, weddings are changed. I think that's going to be the next industry that gets a little bit of a shakeup. It already is with these companies. I know in Colorado, there's one or more than one, where they do compostable burials. And they put your body in this thing for a few months, and then you become dirt.
I'm a fan of that one.
Me too.
There's just too much space for graveyards. They take up so much space.
I know. We don't need another apartment complex.
And I'd much rather go visit a tree in a cool place, or in my own yard, than visit a gravestone. I wanted to find this comment. Crazy Dream Girl said, "My father-in-law passed away 2 weeks ago, and at his funeral, his wife found a picture of him holding a wine glass up in the air. She chose that pic as his picture because it totally defined his whole life." First off, I love that. Fun picture. Good times. Let's see. He loved sharing drinks with others and always toasted to something good and having good conversations surrounded by friends, family, food, and wine. It was the perfect send-off. Exactly.
So, I'm assuming your tongue out thing is going to be something you do forever.
I don't know. I haven't really been doing it a lot recently.
Anytime you drink, you do it. So
okay.
When you're assuming you die at 100, right? Do you want your photo a photo of you young, tongue out, or can you make sure you do it when you're older so that can be used?
No, find the most jacked looking picture of me, regardless of when I die. Find the most jacked looking picture of me. Use that. That's it. I don't care if I die at 130 years old and you're using a picture when I was 26. Just find the most jacked version of me you can find.
Oh my God, he was so young. No,
and put that on there. Yeah.
He was not.
But going back to people being sad, right? And the religious thing that you were talking about. Even if you are religious, the thing that always confused me was, if you're religious and you believe the person that you love passed away and went to the good place, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, but
you're still sad, I get it, but that's still a celebration, right? Hey, he graduated. He went to the place that we all want to go to.
No. So 2 weeks ago, I went to my friend Tatum's grandma's memorial. So my friend Tatum, her grandma passed away. They had a memorial. I don't think I've ever been to anything like this. And I'm not saying it was new, whatever. I just haven't been to it. And there was no coffin, none of that nonsense. Not that I say nonsense in a way of you sit there and you're staring at a dead body. Why do we put ourselves through this?
Yeah.
And it was we got a pamphlet And everyone who, like, all of her grandchildren and her daughter all spoke and said something about her. And there was music, like her favorite song played, like different things that made sense for this woman and her life. And there was like a slideshow, and then they found, like, I guess every morning she would read something in her book. It was like letters to God or something with letters to Jesus, and they read what they believe was the last one
Oh,
she
cool.
read on the morning she died. And you're just like, we were sobbing,
Yeah.
but also laughing and
That's good.
smiling. And it was like not in a funeral home. It didn't smell like flowers. You weren't like,
Yeah.
it felt like new. And yes, it was just such a sad thing for them to unexpectedly lose someone that they loved so much and all
Yeah.
these grandchildren. But you fully understood who this woman was.
That's
And
cool.
as someone who did, like, I met her once, and it was just, I don't know, it was the most perfect thing. I was like, this is what
And-
everyone should get.
I do need to, I guess, clarify. I'm not saying that you should be like happy at a funeral, right? Like, you lost someone, you're not going to see them again. The pain is real,
Yeah.
right? It's very real. It's going to be with you for a long time, and it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. You're going to have days where you're fine. Then you're going to have days 3 years down the road where you fall into a rut. But it's weird, and maybe I think all cultures do this a little differently. I know in my Middle Eastern culture, like, if you were really serious about mourning the dead,
Mhm.
like, you cover your TV, like you wear black. I think it's 40 days.
But I need the TV to get me through.
You're basically supposed to put yourself in a state that only lets you think about that dead person.
That's
You're not allowed
not
to be.
healthy.
You're not supposed to have parties. You're not supposed to go to big events. You're like, it's crazy, and
It's not healthy.
and we don't really do that anymore. Most people don't. But it's just a weird
Mhm.
thing, and I know a lot of different cultures do it differently.
Right.
Right? The phase of mourning and kind of punishing yourself to pay your respects to the dead. I never really understood it. But if that's something that you like doing, go for it. I do love this. D from Palm Beach said, get Anthony a memorial weight bench at LA Fitness. If you could, like, if I go soon, this is what I want you guys to do. The bench where you could do like preacher curls. You know what those are?
You like that one?
Do you know what a
Is that
preacher
like
curl
where
is?
you lean over?
Yeah, you lean over it, and it's got like the triangle on top to put your arms over, and you do curls like that. It's real wobbly. I think one of the screws is missing on the inside. So here's what you do. You reach out to LA Fitness and you say, hey, we're going to pay someone to fix this, and then we're just going to put a little plaque right on the bottom that says something. Anthony worked out here once, a couple times.
You want us to put like your max?
No, because I'm not like super proud of it yet.
Oh,
You could put that on the bench. If there's a wobbly bench, you could do that.
what is the max?
My max bench is probably like 320, 350 in that range.
Sounds cool.
That was in college. I don't know.
But not we need your max at LA Fitness in Ballard.
I think because I don't really use a spotter, so I think the heaviest I've gone at that gym is probably 285. Something like that. 285 for like 2 reps is probably where I was.
She taught me, your cousin
Mhm.
Michelle. She said it's like shamed upon to
Yeah.
go to something that celebrates life within 40 days of a loss. It's insane in my opinion.
Yep.
And
I
this
remember,
is the kind of stuff I'm saying. Like, it doesn't mean you're not religious, but there is a new wave. Like, our generation is like, listen, I will respect my religion, but there are boundaries that I need to have in my life.
well, this is a great example, especially since my cousin Michelle said this. Our shared grandfather, the one that we have together,
right.
he passed away essentially something like a week before my college graduation.
Right.
And a college graduation, I was the first one in my immediate family to graduate. Big thing. And my uncle and my dad came to my graduation, which I think there was some discussion of them not going out of respect to my grandfather. But
And-
both of them were like, yeah, but we also we want to respect our father, but we also want to respect
the living person.
the living
that is
person who's going through this big monumental moment.
And would your grandfather not want his son to be a?
I think my grandfather would have wanted everyone there.
Yeah.
And I can say that now. I could also say it because it was about me and I'm selfish. But we also did wait until after the 40-day time period was up to have my college graduation party.
Now, would you still do that?
I don't know. I wouldn't do it like the week of, right? Like I understand there needs to be a little bit of distance because you don't want people going through both of those emotions at the same time. It's a real mind screw.
It's life.
But yeah, I think they're like back in the day, a slightly older generation. Like I probably wouldn't have even gone to my college graduation, right? Because it was a celebration, whereas I just lost
But
a very important family
and
member.
I get that but also it's idiotic when you think about it. Like
Yeah.
I'm still alive living my life. The whole point is live your life to its fullest because one day you're going to be that guy.
Yeah,
Hello?
I agree. I don't think
It's idiotic. It just doesn't make there are things in religion like, all right, I get it at some point it made sense. I don't know that it does now.
No, I think there's a lot of things that make sense. And I do think everyone needs their own time of mourning, but I think forcing people to hold out on life events or almost take a break from really living life in a fulfilled way does the opposite of what you should be doing when you realize that your time here is limited.
Agreed.
You know, even though it's the longest, your life is the longest thing you're ever going to do, but it's also, it's over in an instant when
When you see
think
how you see the Hubble,
when you think of just the world in general.
it's crazy. Hold on. I paused something. Also, this reminds me that I feel like we all need to be better at our death plan so that we actually we always talk what we want, but like I've been
write it
thinking
down?
about writing it down.
Okay. Kind of like a will.
And also, so
Right, isn't that what a will does? You could be like, "Hey, do this."
yeah, we probably should also do that. But I mean, just like this is what I want when I die. I feel like everyone would feel obligated to do it, and they would just do it, will or
Luckily,
not.
we've got this, so.
It's true. But so one of the things Tatum's grandma did at one point in her life wrote a letter to her daughter, who is Tatum's mom.
Mhm.
And it was basically a goodbye letter for her to find when she died. And she had written it so early on that at one point she said how many grandkids and she had to cross it out and
Oh, so she like updated it.
yeah.
That's pretty
She
cool.
didn't write the new right, just did that. And I guess there was a folder in her home labeled with Tatum's mom's name for all.
Was that the only daughter?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it was, and I'm now like reading this letter and I can't get through it because I'm sobbing. And I look at my friend Lindsay. I'm like, is this real or is this like a letter to my daughter? Like just something that maybe a poem that was written, whatever. And then we keep reading. We're like, oh my God, this is real. Like what? And I'm like, but how amazing to have something, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So I think we all need to not think about death every day, but think about how we want our loved ones to feel when we pass. Because the only one that we can control that, essentially.
Yeah, but how many letters do you think you'd write?
Oh God, I don't know. That's not too many.
It's a lot of letters. Read
So
Lisa's
Lisa
comment?
said the Italian way we used to do funerals was for viewings. Now I know a lot because there were some things earlier that people said, is that an Italian thing to do a memorial card? So a lot of this I feel like is an East Coast thing.
Maybe.
Truly. So 4 viewings, 2 each for 2 days, and then church and the burial and the 2 funerals we had during COVID were just the church service. She said so that was so much better. So when she says 2 viewings, 2 days, when someone passes, what'll happen is there will be, it's like, okay, there's viewings on Tuesday from 2 to 4 and then 5 to 7. And then on Wednesday, same times. And then Thursday morning is a funeral service at the funeral home. And then you go to the church, then the cemetery, then you do a repast.
It's a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
That is actual torture for
It's
these
exhausting.
families. And truly, it gets to a point where you're standing there for 2 hours crying. Every time someone else walks in, you're crying. And granted, it gives people the time, like being able to say, oh, I can get there at this time and pay my respects to the family, whatever. However, if you make it one day, people will figure it out or pay their respects in other ways.
Yeah.
You don't it is actual torture.
Yeah. We did, my friend Brittany passed away right after college, and she was a year or 2 years younger than us, but she passed away pretty early on of cancer. And we went to the funeral. They had a quick viewing, then the funeral, and then was it a repast? That's like the lunch afterwards. And keep in mind, we're all all my friends are 24, 25 years old. And we were all, Brittany was a really close friend to a lot of us. She passed away. We unfortunately knew it was coming for at some point because her path with her journey with cancer was up and down and got pretty bad towards the end. And she had the funeral services right across, in that same building, there was a bar. So all of us after the lunch, like that's where the lunch was, and then a bunch of my friends stayed there, and then we didn't purposefully do this, but it just turned into all of our friends hanging out, sharing stories. Then we were there so late that the bar started playing music, like it was getting into the bar part of the day, and we just kept, like it was a dozen of us just hanging out, having a phenomenal time.
That is therapeutic.
Yeah. Let's see, Brittany, but there was a song my husband always told me to play at his funeral. So when he passed, let's see.
No, you're right.
Why is that there? So when he passed, it was played. As sad as it was to play, I'm grateful that I was able to fulfill that wish. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a song you'd want played?
Probably a Fall Out Boy song.
Because I know there was
I could pick a super sad song just to fuck with everybody.
You could. And this will show you that what I was talking about earlier, where a bunch of people around me died. My senior year in high school, a kid who had just graduated committed suicide when he went to college. And Incubus, Pardon Me, was like one of his favorite songs. And they actually played it into the church as everyone was there. It was a surreal experience.
I might do
because it's really talking about a guy just disappearing. Pardon me while I burn into a flame.
I
burst into a flame.
Might do like a song done on a violin, like Cover Lovers, so that no matter what it is,
well, I've got a library.
Like Hit Me Baby One More Time on a violin.
I've got a library of Cover Lover songs. Martha, my dad was beloved in our church and the whole community.
Country.
Oh, and the whole country loved your dad?
Which country?
We were grateful he passed during COVID because the funeral would have lasted an entire week, but it was just an intimate thing and it was beautiful. That's kind of what happened with my grandfather when he passed. It wasn't during COVID. It was in high school. First off, he was super old. He was like 92.
I'm not laughing at that. Dana just said bye by
That's
NSYNC.
a good one.
Sorry.
And we ended up having the viewing, not just the funeral, the whole viewing part was in the church over 2 days because so many people showed up because my grandfather was like one of the founders of the church.
Walking around the whole town like this.
Yeah. If Backstreet Boys isn't at my funeral, I don't want to be there. Curvy knockout. Let's talk about what?
Maybe you could get a performance at my funeral.
By who?
Honestly, I think about this every day.
Also, you got to think if you do live a long life, like if you don't die tragically, they're all going to be gone.
Yeah, true. But I always think that, like, I don't know, I'm going to get attacked by an animal or something. Like, that's how I think I'm going to go.
It could happen. So
like a coyote outside. It's just going to be something so ridiculous. And my family's going to be so sad. But like, this is what I'm going to write in my letter. Like, even if I died right now, I'm so grateful and happy that this is the life I lived. Oh my God, if I died today, it's really going to suck that I said all
That's like when I, on the radio, said,
if we get fired,
you know it's because I'm playing La Bamba, and then we got fired?
Maybe I don't know what to say. Okay.
But we didn't actually get fired for that reason, so it was different.
I don't want to die.
Damn it, where is this article? I just had it, but I pressed it back on my phone.
Well, I sent you an email of something we got to talk about.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that right now. That'll be Thursday's show.
No,
It's fine.
It is Thursday.
That'll be Monday's show. Damn it. So what I wanted to talk about, and I'll find this article in a second.
The minor league thing?
The minor league thing. Oh, I can just search.
Well,
Hold.
call Jen or Lisa. They know about it.
Rob.
Justin said, I want people to take a shot at my wake. I did that at one. Yeah, definitely take a shot at mine of something real gross. I want everyone to do shot face. But it was at the cemetery, which I'm surprised was the last.
So here is what's going on. So the reason I wrote, could you live minor league, is this is not a sports debate, even though it's about minor league baseball. I guess minor league baseball players basically just got a raise. Okay. Now, the minimum minor league salary ranges from about $4,800 per year to $1,400 per year in AAA.
Wait,
okay.
1,400. Those numbers.
$14,000 a year. Sorry, $4,800 to $14,000. Okay. So in that range. Prior to this season, because this was the season that I had the best article here and it's gone.
And how many hours are these guys working? Like, what is their schedule? Because, like, if they're playing 6 games a year.
Here's the crazy part. So they don't get paid for preseason games. They don't get paid for the postseason. So even if you do really well, you don't get paid for those extra games that you have played. You have an opportunity to play because of your performance. And the one thing they did add this year was living expenses, like your rent essentially, is
Okay.
paid for.
That's
Right?
good.
They I don't know if they provide housing or what. Um, but Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner of baseball, he makes essentially $50,000 a day.
Stop it.
Okay. So the man who makes $50,000 a day, almost $18 million a year, claims that he rejects the idea that they are not paid a living wage. So they have a guy who makes $18 million a year telling them that making $14,000 a year at the high end is a livable, totally normal wage. Now, most minor league players do have other jobs. I know our friend Bucky, who works here at Sports Radio 950 KJR in Seattle, he, I think, ran a baseball camp for a long time and made extra money that way while he was in the minor leagues and figuring out everything.
Well, like not everyone can do that.
Not everyone can do that.
Okay.
And this is with a raise, by the way, that they got that.
I am beside my like they can make more money being on OnlyFans.
So
And what are the odds? Here's the thing, like, what are the odds that they're actually going to make it to the major league? Like, I'm asking. I'm not saying.
It's not high at all.
So then,
Because there's a lot of minor league teams.
why beat your body up and do it? Like, and again, they all have a dream. I get it,
Yeah.
right? It's
you're
essentially
chasing
like
the dream.
radio. Truly,
It's worse because
it is
the
worse.
minimum salary, according to this other article that I found, minimum salaries for minor league players are $400 per week at the rookie level.
So why don't we make this guy?
So $400 per week, which means you are making
I was making more when I started in radio.
what, $1,200? No, that's not the right math. $1,600 a month.
Right.
Okay. Again, your
That doesn't pay for
rent is paid for, so
Okay,
that's
but
good.
it wasn't before.
It wasn't. Class A makes $600, and then AAA makes $700 per week.
This man, I would like to tell this man that he has to live off of that for a month.
And that's what I agree. And kind of like the idea of, what was that show? I don't know if it's still on, Undercover Boss.
That's what
right?
Lisa said.
But Undercover Boss was like a week of you doing tasks that your staff does. Did they actually make you live?
Like, was this guy gonna play baseball? He probably can't.
But did they make the bosses not have access to the money and the cars and the lifestyle and the assistance they have? Because that's the real test. It's
Yeah.
not whether you can do the task.
No, it's not doing the task. I want
It's
them to live.
Can you live a normal life?
You have $1,600 a month, and we'll pay for your rent in an apartment. You don't even get to live in your fancy smancy home. You don't get your Nespresso
Mhm.
and your convection oven or whatever rich people have in their houses and an ice machine and a refrigerator. You don't get that. You got to make your own ice. Yeah, just good luck finding well, if they're paying for it, right? Like, even if they give him a decent apartment, what if the elevator breaks in his apartment?
so what my brother's saying is they had to find an apartment.
No, he's saying they have.
Well, because Heather on Long Island said, I remember watching one, maybe it was plumbing, and the boss needed to live in a small apartment based on the income.
Right. I think your brother's saying they have to find the apartment in the show.
But but it's different saying, oh, you're going to live in this apartment for a week,
All right. No, a month.
but you still have all of your resources.
Okay. But we're not doing that. We're going to take this commissioner guy, put him in an apartment in, I don't know wherever maybe he lives, and give him $1,600 for the month and tell him best of luck.
Mhm. Now, I think we do have to also, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. So $1,600 a month in Seattle is going to get you absolutely nothing. Right.
Zero places.
But if you're playing for like the Mississippi Mud Dogs or I don't know, whatever very rural Mississippi or Alabama team you have, $1,600 a month could go much further.
Mhm.
So I think it also depends on where you're playing, cost of living, things like that. I don't know if the league you're in the minor leagues should matter, like the level of minor league baseball. I think the city that you're in should matter. Like if you're playing for the Newark Bears, even though they're an independent, I don't think they're part of
Right.
Major League Baseball.
I interned for
It's
them.
going to cost a lot more money for you to live and play for the Newark Bears than it is if you're playing, like I said, for, I don't know, what are the Iron Pigs? Oh, they're in Pennsylvania, I believe. Right? Is there an Iron Pigs team in Pennsylvania? Something like that. Let's see. Some minor leaguers do get a signing bonus when they get drafted. That is 100% correct.
But I bet you that's taxed like crazy.
Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Thank you very much. That's from Joe Quills.
Shanna said, I think a lot of players live with host families. That's a thing in
Didn't you have a friend who did that?
In hockey, like AHL and levels like that. That's what happens.
But there's something.
But those families get paid by the league.
Like, I don't want to hear a multi-millionaire who could stop working today and never have to work another day in his life. I don't want to hear that person tell me what a living wage is, because that person most likely has been so far removed from the everyday struggles of the average American that their opinion literally, and I don't like saying this about anyone really, because everyone has an opinion and has feelings, but their opinion on what a living wage is doesn't matter.
Right.
You shouldn't have an opinion.
You can have one, but it will not be counted
Yeah.
in anyone's decision
making. And it's always the richest people who are like, no, you have enough. It's like, no, you rich person, you have enough.
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
Lisa said the MLB players should be standing up for the MILB players, share the wealth. It's like everyone forgot where they came from sometimes. Here's the thing, though. Those are the same people that are like, but I did my time. They should do their time. And it's the same people that have either paid off their student loans or have private student loans that are like, no, I don't want everyone else's loans to get forgiven. That's not fair. And it helps everyone in the end, honestly.
And the thing to always remember, and yes, there are current MLB players that could maybe the Players Association comes together and says, hey, we're going to tax everybody 1% of their salary and spread that among a certain percentage of the minor league players, whatever that is. But baseball players, athletes, even though we see their salaries and they're huge, right? Like A-Rod made whatever, $250 million. We got players now signing $400 million deals for 10 to 15 years. Those players are multi-millionaires. Owners are multi-billionaires. So for an owner to have a staff that's living below minimum wage or living below what we consider a standard livable wage, that's the embarrassment. You have over $1 billion of wealth. That's generational. That's generations and generations and generations and generations of money. Like, you could make sure that those players who support your whole team have a decent life. Not a great life.
How many? Rebecca said, "Throw him in the garbage."
Oh yeah, you kind of gave up saying that, huh?
There haven't been many people I wanted to throw in the garbage.
Rob Manfred?
That's a guy.
He's in the garbage.
So, how many major? What is it? Why is it MI? What is the LB? What is the I?
What?
What is the I?
I don't know.
No, it's MILB, I thought.
Oh, for minor.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't make it M.
Yeah.
All right, how many players? That's what I want to know.
Let's see. I mean, even Lisa said, if you look at the Yankees, look how many overpaid players we have. Hicks, Chapman, and it's Trevino that's in the All-Stars. That's an All-Star.
No one could see it because it said Hicks.
I just accepted it, yeah. Yeah, because it said Hicks, and they thought you were...
being mean. Okay.
And this is a good point that Fred brings up. Low wages are a filter. The good players will move up quickly and make better money.
That's true.
But I agree with that, because I don't think everyone, when you start out at an entry level, needs to, live a lavish lifestyle. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. And you do want the players who probably shouldn't be there. You want to filter them out early, but they should still have a respectful wage
for their time,
right? Like $400 a week for all the travel and the training and all the things they do. I don't know if that's a respectable wage.
There were 906 MILB players as of I believe it said last season.
That's it? Wow.
If you paid them each $30,000, right? We'll just go with that as like that's still not a full.
In most places in America, it's a decent wage.
That's $27 million.
Which is
Nothing
like
to MLB.
one average player's salary now, or good player's salary now.
And I think even that number would eventually weed out the bad players too.
Mhm. And the other thing to think about,
Yeah.
yeah, I think respectable and livable, those could be, you could sometimes swap those words out. They could mean different things to different people. But I've always, I think, subscribed to the belief that no matter what your job is, it's a job because someone else needs it to be done, right? And I think for a long time, think of how many times growing up, if you didn't do good in school, someone's like, oh, well, you're just going to grow up and be a garbage man, right? Or you're going to grow up and flip fries, or if you flip fries, God bless you,
Yeah, you
flip
did it
burgers at Burger King, right? And we have let society kind of crap on those jobs for such a long time. But what happens when no one does them? Society falls apart.
And people get mad and say nobody wants to work.
Exactly. There was a meme I saw a little while ago when restaurants were having a hard time reopening and hiring people, that when restaurant workers were asking for livable or respectable wages, people kept saying, well, go get a better job. It's like, well, they all did get better jobs or different jobs.
Mad.
And now everyone's mad saying no one wants to work for that salary or that wage. And this is where I think we need to come together and say, how do we make sure that all of the jobs, people can live respectful lives, respectable lives? And we say, hey, even though, and it's weird, there's so many words that I try to not use in terms of people's occupations, right? Because for a long time, they were low wage jobs. But why is a garbage man a low wage job if it was at one point? It's not really that bad anymore because there's unions that protect them.
I'd pay extra for them to come more times.
Yeah. And my brother just brought up a good point. We started to shit on people doing service jobs, but all jobs are necessary for a society to operate. Garbage men, they actually do make decent money.
And guess what? Yes,
probably not for what they have to deal with, though.
But they deal with literal crap. But I would almost rather deal with literal crap than people's BS.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. Like, they're not getting emails all hours of the day unless it's like, hey, it snowed, we got to change your route. Like, honestly, we should be glorifying this job. And guess what they also don't have to do? Spend $100,000 to go to college.
And a lot of people are saying, and this is the interesting, though, garbage men, or what do we, sanitation worker?
Sanitation workers.
Sanitation workers. They now make a better life than they used to, obviously. But we have been crapping on that occupation for such a long time. But,
Truly?
But guess who is at the core of our society running properly? The people who take our garbage and recycling away.
What happens one day when the garbage gets missed? Like if there is like there was snow or whatever, it's like, oh my God, what do I do with my garbage?
Yeah.
I freak out. Like, where am I going to put it? I'm telling you, I'm thinking about it.
And
you don't need a certification, right?
To go back, right? Let's do a complete circle here. End up where we started.
Dying?
No.
Oh,
Back to Rob Manfred here. Regardless of what you think a livable, respectable wage is, I don't think the guy making $18 million a year to do very little other than work on a contract with a players association is the one to tell us what is and isn't a livable wage.
yeah, I know.
If you are not struggling at that line of livable versus unlivable, your opinion about it maybe might not be that important.
So is he in trouble? Like, what's happening?
No, it was just, he's not in trouble. I think the
hashtag canceled?
minor league baseball, I believe, came out with some sort of, or the Players Association came out with some sort of statement in rebuttal to what he said. But I just don't think, like, so Bob Pittman was the CEO when we were, I think he's still the CEO at iHeartRadio.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Pittman's opinion on whether or not promotions people get paid enough or too little is irrelevant because that guy's a billionaire. And he is so far removed from the struggles and the work responsibilities of the people lowest in his company that his opinion shouldn't matter, even though he is the one that, at the end of the day, I guess, is him and the CFO are approving everything.
Right. Jenny K, sometimes I wish I had a simple job where I didn't have to think about emails all day.
I agree.
Dude, same. And obviously, Anthony and I are in a much better situation now, but emails are still how we do our business and communicating with people and relying on that conversation, texting and whatever it may be. But it is way different than it used to be where like we don't get emails from like a boss where it's like, fuck, like, we
Yeah.
don't have that.
Yeah, the thing that I realized I've been a lot happier with is there are no useless meetings, right? Meetings that are just on the calendar because they've been on the calendar forever and you have to sit there for an hour and like nothing's happening.
And I will say what's also great is that we can separate to take meetings and you can do a meeting and you'll recap me and I'm like, okay, great. In radio, not only did we have to be there, but in Chancellor, I won't say no one. We were told that we had to be at everything, blah, 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 whatever. However,
3298, thank you.
I always felt like I couldn't skip out on anything, whether it was a doctor's appointment or anything, because if I wasn't there as the female, something was going to be changed or done, and that actually was proven several times.
Yeah.
Where like if I wasn't involved in a meeting, something was like said or done or whatever, and I just always needed to be there because you wanted control of your show because it just felt like it was going to be taken away from you in some aspect at any moment. And guess what? It's not going to happen now.
It's Megnut Megan said, my neighbor is friends with Pittman's daughter in college and went to his house, and he has 2 houses on his land. That guy's got a lot of houses.
Mm-hmm.
He's got planes.
I have 5 houses on my land. They're just not all mine.
Oh, this is a question to Fred the Mailman from Lenny and Queens. Do mailmen deal with emails all day or just physical mail? It's a great question.
They're hiring at our post office. But I'll tell you what, man, the people at our post office here in Ballard are literal saints. I've been to post office before where those people are not nice.
Mm-hmm.
North Arlington, New Jersey, they're not nice. Here, they will be like, okay, this size box. Does your item need to be in this size box? And I'm like, yes, no, whatever. And if you say no, they're like, I'm going to tell you right now, go take it back home, find a smaller box or cut this box. It's not worth it. Like, they're so nice. And they're like, where's it going? Blah, blah, blah. All their questions super fast, taping it extra for me. They're so nice and so amazing and so helpful.
Andre on Long Island, we got double mailmen in the house right now. Just said he just deals with physical mail and packages. Let's see. And then according to my brother, Ridgewood, New Jersey has delightful garbage men and mailmen.
I'll be honest. Our guys are nice. I think it's because I give them Christmas gifts.
I mean, as you should.
But they're not nice to people that block the road and they beep like crazy at them.
This is the last thing we're going to talk about. And we might have to do a deep dive in this next week. So I've been using Fiverr for some work, right? And I bring this up because you said you gave the garbage men and recycling people, like the sanitation workers, a gift during Christmas time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do the same thing for the mail carriers?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. And that's something they're coming here every day. They're providing that service. Hopefully they all have phenomenal salaries as well. So on Fiverr, this will all make sense in a second. Everyone posts their services.
Sorry, Lisa said our garbage people skipped our street today. My dad was on the phone with them during the stream. LOL, talk about topical. Hold on, I'm so sorry to interrupt you on this because this happens at my parents too.
Happens in Ridgewood every now and then.
My dad was just telling me this. Wait, this is going to go into your thing perfectly. I wanted to talk about this when we were in New Jersey and I forgot. Not only will they like skip, my dad will call and be like, hey, you like didn't pick up our cardboard. And they'll say like, oh, we didn't see it. My dad's like, no, they just didn't do it. Like they just didn't do it. They got everything else.
Well, you never know. There could be a car in front and they might not see something.
Oh, wait. I heard beeping or something. And I was like, what is going on? And my dad was like, oh, the neighbors, the people across the street put something extra out today, whether it was a grill or something, and they will beep until you bring them a tip. And I said, excuse me, what? And he said, the garbage people will beep.
Well, are they not supposed to take it?
I don't know. And that's what I need to find out. I think you are, because there really aren't rules in our town for trash. Like, it's just put everything outside.
Oh, no,
like,
Ridgewood's very regimented.
Where here we have specific garbage bins, and you have to use the city garbage bins. You can only have, like, one extra little bag, whatever. Yeah, they beep. It was the most insane thing.
That's crazy.
But, so that goes into kind of what you're saying.
So tip culture is really what I'm going to get into in a second. And you've probably seen the meme recently that's like every time I see an iPad at a cashier, I know I'm about to tip for something I never tipped before in my life. So I've been using Fiverr for a couple things. And Fiverr is an interesting platform. If you've never used it, it's got everything from voiceover work to script writing to graphic design. It's got all these gig jobs that people can do, right? From remotely and whatever. But you set your own price. You can say, this is what I offer, and this is what you pay me for my offering, for my service, which is great. Except a couple jobs have been completed, and then Fiverr says, they give you a survey. It's like, did this person do a good job? Yes, blah, blah, blah. And I don't always go with like 5 stars on everything because I feel like that's disingenuous. I give real ratings. Like, instead of, was everything delivered as expected? Yes. Did it exceed expectations? Not really. It's exactly what I wanted, though, which is good. There's an option once you fill out the survey that says, and the job is complete, that says, feel free to add a tip or something. It's like, it's customary to tip on Fiverr.
And mind you, you're paying more than $5 for this.
Yes, it's not all $5. And that's the thing. If this person is setting their price, and yes, I understand there's a fee that they probably pay to Fiverr for the services.
But that's not your fault.
But you can build that in on your own.
I disagree with you a bit.
I'm just having a hard time understanding what I'm tipping for.
Because that person did something specifically for you. And this is, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm going to argue the other side of it. Why am I tipping at the nail salon if I'm spending $70?
I don't know.
Right. So,
but maybe the nail tech might be a different thing because they might not set their wages, right? They might not have control over that. And I think you can nitpick every single industry that gets tips and figure out why that doesn't happen. In some states, when you tip your server, it's because they are not obligated. The business that is hiring them is not obligated to pay them the actual minimum wage. Like in New Jersey, it's like what, $3 or something like that an hour for a server.
It was $2.18 when I worked in 2007. So
I'm assuming it's got to be up, but maybe not. But here's my issue with Fiverr, and if anyone's worked on Fiverr, please expand, because I'm not. This isn't me saying they don't deserve the tip. I'm not understanding why that's a thing.
You've been working with one guy and all the things that we are getting, and you guys will find out about what it is and stuff. We're not telling you.
It doesn't matter
right now. It'll be fun. You've been back and forth with this person doing separate orders, and they're super responsive. And I know that's part of, but I bet you there are people that aren't, and I feel like that should be rewarded. I'm gonna go in and tip the person.
So here's I'll give you an example of how one of the Fiverr interactions works. And it is kind of funny because I didn't realize going into it. This is the funny part of it. These people are from all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then there's like a weird language barrier because they're using Google Translate on their end. And then you look into it and things are worded a little weird. And then I realized I was doing business with someone in Indonesia. And then the work was good. But here's how it works. I browse all the options for the job that I want done. And people have their portfolios listed there. So you can see the videos, the graphics, the work that they've done. I choose the one I like, or a couple that I like.
Yep.
I look at the rates. I find what fits my budget. And they're very, very specific, which is what I love. It'll say, hey, this order gets you so-and-so artwork and 4 revisions. And the turnaround time is in this many days. Okay? So right away, you know exactly what you're getting, how many times you're allowed to go back and forth with the person, and how long it's supposed to take.
Man, I can do this for Canva.
So when you say, oh, you go back and forth, I'm like, I'm doing exactly what was contractually agreed upon. If they send me work and I say, hey, I love it, but this one thing, can you adjust? That's one of the 4 revisions I'm allowed to get for the thing I paid for. So I don't even know if the revision thing qualifies as a reason for a tip, because that was built into the work they were going to do. Again, I want people to, like I said earlier, live meaningful lives doing the work they do and making a respectable wage or fee for it. I just don't understand the tip at the end.
D in Palm Beach said sometimes during our photography side hustle we get tipped, but I don't demand a tip. It's just a happy surprise. Yeah, it's like very. I had was it the guys that came and fixed the heater, like things like that, where like, oh, I'll give them like $10 because that's just how I was raised.
Here's a good example.
But they were definitely paid to do that.
When we switched over from Xfinity to CenturyLink, right? There was issues. The guy from CenturyLink, his name was Al. He came by 3 times with 3 different routers, made things work. One day he was here for literally like 7 hours working on things.
We fed him.
We gave him a box of Seattle gummies because we gave him a couple the day before and he loved them. He was like, I didn't drink any coffee today. It's great. So we gave him, I think, 2 boxes actually, different flavors. And I think we gave him an extra like $40. Like we tipped him pretty well, all things considered. And that was him because he went above and beyond. He responded. He got to a point where
we knew it was out of his hours.
Yeah, it was out of his hours and he was still here. So we tried to make good for that unbelievable service because that was above and beyond anything that was contractually agreed upon.
Right.
With Fiverr,
though, he shouldn't have had to have done that.
No. But he did, and that's why. And that's exactly.
Why, yes. Yeah. Agreed.
But with Fiverr, and I have used the same person for a lot of things, so maybe when all of the work is done,
that's what I mean.
I might throw a tip at the end, which makes it sound like I'm money bags here. I might give him a tip at the end, not throw it.
Well, you don't even know if it's a guy.
But does anyone? Oh, posture check. Thank you very much, Vicky.
That's not what. That's not.
I know, but I'm thirsty and I'm sweating. So, where does everyone stand? I know a couple people.
Wait. You are the king of this.
I scrolled when I wasn't supposed to scroll.
Life is a Hike said, and this could get a little awkward because your barber might be in here, but he said, do you tip your barber if he raises the base price to the amount you gave after tipping him?
It's a great question.
Today, you're going to get your haircut, and you're going to Miles' new place.
Yeah, so I am going to my barber left the barber shop he was at. I don't know. He's probably at work now. I found him while he was working at Squire Barbershop in Seattle. And he rented a chair there, that whole thing. Tipped him there. He now has his own place, his own standalone place. I still plan on tipping. I don't know.
Why wouldn't you tip?
I don't know why.
But it was just if you, say a haircut was $15, right?
Yeah.
And you gave him $20.
Mm-hmm.
One day you go to a place and they start charging $20.
I guess I keep going with it. But we are in a world where it's customary to tip your hair person, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a normal thing to do.
But also sometimes it's like 20%. It costs $300 to get my hair done, right?
Okay.
It does. 20%. I'm just giving $360.
It's a lot of money. Ooh, great question to my cousin Michelle, who's in the chat. Michelle, do people tip you?
So she just texted me.
And for those who don't know, Michelle she bakes a lot of things, wedding cakes among them.
She's a baker. So she messaged me and said, I'm sending you something on Instagram that a bake shop that she follows posted.
Okay,
it's long. But they said, we have some important changes to share with you all. It is no longer tenable. Is that the right word? Tenable for us as a business to continue operating as we have since March 2020. With the increased costs from a global pandemic, the lingering supply chain problems, and the mandated minimum wage increases, we sacrificed and stayed open, but did not and have not made a profit. We have not increased pricing since March 2020, even though it is far more expensive to operate a small business and for our team to live in Los Angeles, handle their finances, make ends meet. Since the beginning, we have supported farmers and producers that we feel do exceptional work, and we paid them without terms all through COVID because it was the right thing to do and because without them, there is no Cone B, or restaurants. Beginning this week,
is that the name of the restaurant?
Cone B, Konbi. Beginning this week, we will be doing away with tipping and instituting a 20% service charge. The 4% healthcare charge we had previously will be rolled into this on all orders. This will continue to allow us to provide health insurance and PTO and COVID sick pay to our team. We cannot define what a livable wage is in LA, but after much discussion, we cannot operate with this uncertainty that comes with the current tipping system and the taxation policies of small businesses in California. And then it says continued and comment. Michelle, put the link in here.
That was a lot. Basically, they're raising their prices.
Yeah, but so I love what Watson's Counter does here. they have what they believe are tips rolled into their prices.
Mhm.
So if you go to get a coffee at Watson's Counter or whatever it may be, and they have the iPad and they flip it around, you literally at one time I was like, wait, how do I tip? And I forgot they did this. She's like, oh no, our prices make sense. Like you don't.
Yeah.
And
Miguel in Miami, thank you.
James is always hiring, and it's like $19 an hour, or whatever it may be. And
I love that. I
Yeah.
do. There are times where oftentimes this happens at restaurants in Seattle. They'll have something on their menu that says like, "Do not tip." We have included, everything that we believe is needed for our staff
Right.
and our company. And I agree. Like, I would love that if a bake shop said, "Hey, our prices are a little higher, but we do not expect a single cent more." That makes sense to me. Now, if
And
you
I
have
think
people,
what this company is doing is amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just adding 20% to whatever your order is. That is going to help with all of the costs. Like we keep saying we want all these things. We want healthcare for
Mhm.
people who work at places. And Anthony and I were having a conversation about this yesterday. When you say like, oh, I want benefits, I want the company I'm working at to give me benefits. And yeah, if it's a huge company, that makes sense. But if it's a smaller business and you expect them to do that, the amount of money they have to pay for you to get the benefits every month is a lot.
that's a whole different discussion as to whether or not that should even be a thing. But I do love, I think everyone's on the same page here. Jen said it pretty well a second ago. I don't mind higher prices if it's explained that way. Yeah, if I'm price shopping and one of the businesses says, "Hey, you might notice that our prices are a little higher. We don't expect tips, and these are the things that we provide for our employees," even though it's a high, now if it's like, I don't know, if it's significantly higher, I might be price shopping that way. But if it's close, I would much rather shop from that business that's being transparent and hopefully supporting their employees than say, "Oh, I'm going to save like $7 on this cupcake." I don't know. I made that up. And get it here.
Agreed.
Also, America is one of the only places where tipping is even a thing.
I know.
Everywhere else in the world, it's just like you do the job, you get your money, and everyone's done.
Justin said it's wild. It only started because of the mob and businesses avoiding paying their employees.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And I say this about the restaurant industry in New Jersey all the time. You have people working in your business that you're paying $3 an hour, hoping that your customers decide to tip them well.
Yeah.
And as someone who has worked in not a fancy restaurant, I worked at a Benzie, and maybe I wasn't the best server, but they got their food, and I only spilled it once.
I'm going to say
People
something.
tip 15%. Like, I'd say getting 20%, because you're in a strip mall. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Getting 20%
It's not like a fancy place.
was, oh my God, I got 20%.
I will say this, and this is going to sound weird to some people, but I think there is a portion of society that loves the idea of tipping as a customer because it makes them feel powerful. It's like, "Oh, here's your change, you little peasant boy." Like, it makes you feel like you're like regal. Like, "Thank you for my caviar. Take this pence." I don't know how much is a pence?
6 pence.
Yeah, but you're none the richer with that. So I don't know how much that is. What else? Lenny from Queens said, "Whenever I go to Hong Kong, I keep forgetting they don't tip there." And then the other thing, a lot of people will argue, well, for example, let's use restaurants in New Jersey for this, which my parents owned a restaurant in New Jersey. A lot of people will argue, well, oh, if they raise the minimum wage for my employees, then I can't afford to be in business. It's like, well, if you can't pay your employees the $7.25 an hour, then I don't know if you're actually running a business.
Right.
At that point, your customers are subsidizing more than their share of your business. They're paying your employees and they're paying you, as opposed to paying you and then you're responsible for divvying up that money. Yeah, this is a much longer show than normal. It's almost, oh my God, it's 9:40. We did start a little later.
No, my parents are good tippers.
I feel like your dad tips everything. Your dad like throws money at Uber drivers, doesn't
Well,
he?
this was
Like he
before
like
Uber
crumbles cash and throws it in their
when
face.
you remember when Uber started, it was no tips, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing. We're not cabs. You don't gotta tip us. Blah blah blah. And I would be in an Uber with my dad, and I'm like, and I remember, never forget the first time I just looked at him. I said, "Do not tip him. You don't have to," because I knew it was gonna happen. He's like, "What? What do you mean?" Oh, sure enough, we get in the car, takes out the money clip, and throws it in the guy's window as we're walking away.
Yeah. Which listen, I'm sure the guy appreciates. Everyone appreciates more money. Everyone appreciates more money.
I always forget to tip my Uber drivers because normally I just got to get to a place, and then the next time I open the app, I'm like, oh, I got to tip that guy from 2 weeks ago. He gets the money just 2 weeks later.
This is 83 Marie Smith said, I don't mind tipping when waited on, but now Subway has a tip line on the receipt, which, again...
Well, okay, so hear me out.
Yeah.
When I worked at the bagel place, we had a tip jar, which if I could think about if we had that iPad, all the money I would have been making probably. We had the tip jar, and then when I worked for Flip's Ice Cream, I had a tip jar, and I would literally write, help me pay for college on it.
I mean...
So me scooping ice cream, right? Versus them scooping the chicken out of the jar or whatever it is at Subway.
But, okay, we've
But there was an
established,
art.
hold on, we've established that the service industry, right? A, because they get paid less than minimum wage oftentimes, and B, because it's become this norm, they get tips.
Who? Sorry.
People in the service industry,
Right.
waiters, servers, things like that, barbacks, bus boys, they all split tips. But if you're working at one of those line, like fast casual places, a Chipotle, Subway, whatever, I don't consider that the service industry.
But is me serving ice cream the service industry?
I don't think so. That's a task-based industry,
But
much like any other job.
But there is a skill.
No, there isn't.
In the soft serve, it's all about the wrist.
Yeah, well, there's a skill in every job. There's a skill in taking garbage from the corner and getting it into the dump truck or the garbage truck. There's a skill in every job. Just because your job has some sort of thing you have to learn doesn't mean it's unique.
Just saying.
But I would put the Subway workers, Subway restaurant, by the way, not like MTA,
They're not,
line, people that are doing that, right? They're taking it from position A, putting it onto something, and then handing it off.
yeah.
I think that is a job. That is a task-based job, like most jobs.
Mhm.
You're
wonder-
doing that a very specific task. You don't have to do it. There's no
Oh my
real
God, it's
art
true.
form to it.
Yeah, it's 83 Marie Smith said, believe me, I was a part-time bartender and am an over tipper, but Burger King should not tip. Is a one-time service and not being waiting on. Wait, hold on. Do Burger King people ask for tips?
I bet you now, if they use the iPad, there's a thing guaranteed.
So I guess what's the difference between Subway and Burger King? Me watching them put my food in this bag?
No, but again, I wouldn't tip
That's
either.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't
Although
there?
I have, now that I think about it, I feel like the second they turn that thing around,
I'm like,
you have to hit the tip screen first. And then I always wonder, do they know that I'm not tipping before I leave?
and
I don't
tipping
know.
for like something like a massage.
Claire said, I saw that people are tipping less or not at all now than prior to COVID.
I'll be honest, it's
But this is the other thing about tipping, right? You can say, oh, well,
Oh.
that customer left and didn't leave me a good tip.
you tipped at Crumble cookie the other day. You did like 15% or $2. Well, all they do is put a cookie in a box.
I don't know.
That's it. I'm done tipping. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. Because truly, everyone there was like under 25, and I was like, they're all probably in college. But like, also, do I have money to be tipping? Shouldn't be buying cookies anyway.
So the article that Claire is quoting says, in 2019, 77% of U.S. adults always tipped servers at sit-down restaurants, but that number dropped to 73%
Ooh.
since then.
A sit-down restaurant. I mean, I just feel like I'm being waited
Yes,
on.
if I am sitting at a table,
And if I got to throw my own food out.
that's the thing that drives me nuts. When I realize I tipped, and then it's like, bust your own tables, it's like, wait a second.
And I got to sort. If you only people like in the Seattle area will fully get this, and maybe in like Denver, there's sometimes you go, there's 4 different garbage pails. You
Mhm.
got it's like paper, plastic, landfill, compost. And then there's the breakdown of what he goes.
I love Angela in Spokane. And someone did say this is sounding like a very scary and Brody conversation. I guess they just talked about something like this recently. But Angela in Spokane said, it drives me nuts that Five Guys in places like that ask for tips. The thing with Five Guys, too, is they don't even, like, you get your greasy-ass bag with the fries on top of your burger all in there. It's like, you couldn't even sort my burger from my fries. I'm not giving you a tip. And now I sound like a crazy, mean person, but...
Like Scary and Brody.
Ooh, this is a good question. Wendy in Virginia, how do I ensure the tip is going to the person I tipped? I don't know.
Just talking to about their boss.
I think normally it's communal.
Tips.
Normally, especially at like a Five Guys, Chipotle, those types of places, I think it's communal because it's a whole team working together. And I think in most restaurants, the ones that I've worked out at least, you get your tips as a server, and then you're expected to
tip out.
We like you take basically 20% from all the servers, gets put in a pool, and then divvied up to all the other positions. When I was a bar back, that's what happened.
So when I was a server, there was a specific formula we had to do. Certain percentage would go to your bartender. Certain percentage would go to the busboy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I worked, I did a couple of guest bartending spots in the city, and all the bartenders would come together, and we would take what we got, and then 20% of that went into a pool, and that went to everyone that worked in the back, and they, I believe, split all of that equally.
And I was okay with that because, honestly, the busboys would, like, on Friday nights would help me, and I say busboy, they were only boys, would truly help because I can't carry all these ginormous, obnoxious, heavy, 8,000-pound flamed plates that were on fire.
And this goes back to what we were talking about originally when we started talking about money and salaries and all of that. This goes back to it doesn't matter how we've allowed society to perceive or label a job. Every single job is important to the collective, right? Even if you're a bar back and your main job is picking up glasses and slicing lemons, the bartenders who provide more of the service to the customer can't do their jobs
properly
without you.
Right. Like, they could do it. It just would take more time out of their...
Which means if the bartenders can't do their jobs properly, the restaurant and or bar owner doesn't have a business. So it all trickles down and proves that every single job in the chain of command is important. And there might be a different skill set for all of them, but they're all important and they all deserve some sort of respect.
Yep.
Bam. Full circle. Posture check. So I did learn this yesterday when I was at the chiropractor. Right before we go, I'll give you a quick point. He was telling me that the one issue that he's still seeing is I have my shoulders kind of round out, right? Like my shoulders come forward. And I was showing him, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to pull my shoulders back more. I feel weird doing it. I feel like I'm puffing out my chest every time I do that.
Imagine being a female.
And he said, well, that's good. It's a good start, but don't think about bringing your shoulder blades back. Think about bringing the very, very top of your chest up. Because constantly holding your shoulders back isn't sustainable. But bringing this shelf essentially up, right? Like popping your chest out.
It's like the lizard
That
dance.
is how you're supposed to fix your posture.
Yeah, every time I go, I'm much better, but he'll
Don't
be
go
like...
back, go up.
So, also, my issue that I'm working on, I'm going to have to do this with posture check, is because the muscles on my neck are so tight on this side from whiplash that I do this way more. Like, I know there's always a meme that's like, put your shoulders down, but because I have two muscles, the omohyoid something, they're like strings. He had to show me what they are.
What is this? I lost the beginning.
There's these muscles in your neck that essentially, I think they start back here. And they are like a bucatini. They're like a straw. Okay. But they go all the way down and they're super stringy, but they look like a tube. And they're like so tight and like clamped for me that it's also making me do this. Like, I notice when I'm sleeping, I'm doing this. Oh, the pain. So I'm working on that. I have to do certain stretches like this. It's bad. But he was the person, our chiropractor that was talking 2 days ago about tipping, and he worked at a place that would add a tip and then like not really actually tip out the workers. It was a catering company, and he said that they also owned delis, and any food that wasn't used at parties, they would take back to the deli and resell.
If it wasn't used, it wasn't used.
But people paid for that.
Yeah, they didn't use it.
No, but I paid for it.
Yeah, but
If I paid for 2 trays of chicken parm, I'm taking them home.
if you choose to take them home, but otherwise,
So they would put some into containers, make people think it was whatever.
smart, shady, but smart. Let's see. I'm side sleeping and my pillows suck. Constant neck problems. Also had huge boobs, which doesn't help. I can't help you there. You any suggestions?
No.
All
Sleep in a restraint.
Man, we have been doing this show today for almost 2 hours. I know we started a little late, so really, actually, I can tell you, 1 hour and 40 minutes, almost on the nose, according to Twitch. So
And
thank you to the 122 people that are still here.
Yeah.
I know we were at 170 at some point, but I don't expect anyone to hang out that whole time. So the fact that 122 people have, thank you very, very much for spending some time with us.
And Miss Erica slept the entire time, probably because she was awake that much time.
Also, the heat exhaustion from the room probably did something.
She's fine.
So thank you very much for hanging out with us. We are going to get out of here. Don't forget, you can stream the Morning Show podcast wherever you happen to be listening to podcasts, and there will be an episode tomorrow to close out the week. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you hit the subscribe or follow button or whatever plus button to make sure you get notifications on your platform.
Oh, that's right. Crystal's husband, I got to fight him.
Why is that?
Because he rolls his eyes every time our show is on. And I said, I think I got to fight him.
I mean, good luck. You're picking the fight, so good luck. I'm not standing up for you. If you pick a fight, you got to finish it, you know?
Coming for him.
All right.
Bringing my cat.
Peace out.
Peace out, Cub Scouts. Oh, I feel like I'm supposed to tell people to do something.
Nope.
See you Monday.